Kat from Paper, Pens, and Coffee, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you've been following me for a while, welcome back. And recently, because I'm filming this in April, thank you so much for those subscriptions. So remember to subscribe, ring the bell so you will not lose out on the next exciting video. Today, I am going to show you how I use LA Florals Printables on my iPad. You can print out the printables and then use your favorite cutting machine or pair of scissors, or I guess around the Instagrams now, the gyro cuts are getting really popular. Cut them out and use them however you want. Well, what if you want to create a page with those designs, then print it out to put in your planner, either in your rings or put some tape on the back and tape it into your bound book? That's where this comes in today. So I will be showing you where I put the printables and then how I transfer it to Procreate, and then we will make a page together. Now remember, this is just one way of doing it. I have my Apple Pad here, and the only reason I have an Apple Pad is I love using Procreate to create items with other people's art and also making my own art. And this is the easiest way I know how to get the PNGs over to the Procreate. Now, if you follow someone and they make printables, but they only give you a PDF, in another video, I'll be able to show you how to change that PDF into a PNG so you can use it in Procreate, or if you use some of the other programs that I can't think of right now, it's the same process. But for me, Procreate is a no-brainer. It's very easy to learn, and it's not complicated trying to cut and paste and all those other weird things that you have to do in those other programs. I'm not throwing the other programs under the bus, but they're just not user-friendly for me. So what I have done is on my computer, because when I buy them or when I'm sent the files, I open up my email and download them to my computer. And then I move them over to my program here. Let's go to the home page. And I put them in the Dropbox and I make a file. So this one is April LA Florals. And then I have all the things that she has sent me. So what I do then from here is there's a couple ways of doing it. Sometimes it's hit and miss, but the easiest way to do it is to save it to the photos. And the reason is because it's in the format of a photo when you have a PNG compared to when you have a PDF. PDF is when you're printing it out. So what I do is a lot of times, let's see if it'll do it, it'll say copy or save image. Hopefully the camera's getting that and it's not blurry. And then when I say save image, it will save it to my camera roll. And then I'll be able to click on that picture in my camera roll and move it to Procreate. So let's open up Procreate. And as you can tell, I have used this for a long time. And one of my suggestions, and I did not originate this, this was from a fellow Procreate person that I followed. They use the 10 by 10 screen, and then to find your art real quick, as you can tell I haven't been keeping up with it, is that you make a little colorful label. So if you're looking for something, let's see, for example, I want to look at my ink illustrations. So then I know that's the ink illustrations. Then I can see which one I want to use. Maybe I want to do this one, work on this one. Then it'll come up. So let's go back to the gallery and we're going to start afresh. So what I'm going to do is I always work in the largest screen, and which is for me is the 8.5 by 11, and I use the CMYK instead of the sRGB because the CMYK is for when you're printing it out. If you're just making something to show on Instagram or anything digital, then I would stay with the RGB. So we're going to click on that and we'll have a new page. Okay, so then, let me bring this down as far as I can. Okay, so first things first, I always turn off the video because that takes up room on your Apple, and I never use the time-lapse recordings for anything. So then we're going to go to the add, and it says insert file, photo, take photo, insert text. So we're going to insert a photo, and I've already clicked on the ones I want to use from her today, and so I am going to pick the fairy tale bookcase. So it's going to import like this. And what I do, because I want to keep them at this size, and I'll explain why in just a second, I click that off so it won't move. Now I can, well, explain is the reason I do that is that they will stay in this size. But let's say I didn't do that, and then I had to move it over here, and then I clicked on it, and then I wanted to move it again. Procreate cuts it off. So that doesn't help us. So what then I do is I just clear it and I start over again. So when you're importing something, doesn't matter what the size is, always click off that little arrow button so it'll stay the exact size that it was meant to be. So let's insert a photo. Let's get our fairy tale books and like that. Now, I'm going to do different things with this, but the reason I want to keep it at this size is because we're working on an 8 by 10. Am I going to print it out as an 8 by 10? Probably not. It's probably going to go down to my personal size rings, which is about 6.75 and 3.75. But the larger you work in digital, the less pixelated. Now, if you're working with those other fancy programs, you probably don't have this issue. That's the only issue I personally have with Procreate. So I have learned these tricks over the years, especially when I'm designing something. I will design it at this size, even though maybe I'm going to make it really small. All right, so to show you the difference of a PDF and a PNG, when I take the background off, you'll see these fabulous cut lines that she made. Now remember, this is for personal use only. Do not share or distribute in any way. So if you buy this, you use it for your personal use. But if you want to send it to a friend, you can make a card with it and send it to that friend. But do not buy it and then give it to the friend for free, because that's not cool. And we frown upon that in the art world. So just remember that. The copyright remains with LA Florals. Okay, so the bookshelves, these are very, very, very cute. I love how she made different themes. And all of these are hand-drawn by Lauren. She does all the hand drawings, which is really cool. I commend her of doing this. I really like giving out art also that is hand-drawn. So let me see if I can get a little closer so you guys can see it. There we go. All right. So I'm going to pick one of these bookshelves to work with, and then we will create a page. So at the top, if you can see it, there is like a bell with a rose. There is a candlestick. There's a teapot and a little cup, and then here's another rose. So to me, I know that is Beauty and the Beast. The next one, there's a bird, a crown, a pumpkin. It looks like an alarm clock, maybe. A mouse, a couple mice, birds, a glass slipper, Cinderella. This one was awesome right away. This is a bottle of poison. And a red ribbon. And then an apple, so Snow White. The next one had my heart right away because I love Alice in Wonderland. Here's the Cheshire's cat tail. The white rabbit is hiding. Another clock, a hat, cup, Queen of Hearts. And then this little package says, eat me. And then the next one, there's a fork, a bottle, a sea star, a shellfish, another sea star. And so I know that's Little Mermaid. And then I'm just going to move this up so you guys can see it. Here's a comb with a flower on it. And here are some cherry blossoms and a sword. And at first I wasn't sure. But then when I went back and recognized the comb, then I knew that this was Mulan. Now, if you've noticed, when I did that moving around with this, it didn't cut off. And the reason is because I didn't have this arrow button on. See how it kind of gets digitally around it? That's when you can move stuff around. So what we're going to do is pretend this is like one of those fancy gyro cutters everyone is getting now. You use the second button by the arrow button. And then I'm going to turn this because I'm left-handed. And I'm going to use the Alice one. So all you do is you make a little line. And it doesn't matter how big you go around it because there's no background. Since it's already been technically cut out for you, you just follow it around. Let's see if we can see that. Can you see that? Yeah, awesome. So then what I'm going to do is, because that is on, I did it freehand. That's why it allowed me to go around like that. What I'm going to do is come up here to the first one, which looks like a wrench. And I am going to say cut. See, it took it away. And then I'm going to paste it. And it came back. And I'm going to bring the camera out a little so you can see the whole screen. Now it automatically brought that arrow back up, just like when we first put it on the screen. So now it's a big box. So I still want it this size. So I'm going to take off that arrow. I'm going to come over here. These squares represents each layer. So I am going to not delete, but take away the main page. And we're left with our first layer, which is that. Now, to build my page, I'm going to need the background so I can see what I'm doing. So I always keep the background white. And now we can safely, when we put that arrow on, with your pen or with your finger, you can move this around wherever you want it. And if you're not sure where you want it at first, always click reset. It'll take it in its original position. Take off the arrow until you have decided, what am I going to do? Now this is an 8.5 by 11 page, yet I can't work with it like this. I like shrinking it down and pretending like it's on the table. So I've done this before, and I'll show you at the end what I actually created, but let's do something different. Let's put it at the top. And as you can, I don't know if the camera's going to see this, but when you move it, there's a golden line that shows up, and that shows that you are middle of the paper. And then if you want it perfectly centered, kind of like if you use Canva, there'll be two lines that will come across and show you where you are, where you're centered. So I want to make this at the top of the page, but I don't want it all the way at the top because I want a little line for when it's printed out that it won't get cut off. So I'm just guesstimating. So I'm leaving it like that. Now I'm going to bring back the original page, and I think I'm going to use, we have that Alice. I think Cinderella is going to be at the bottom. So what I do is I take away the background, and I'm going to take away the Alice one so it doesn't get mumble jumbled. Then I make sure I'm on the layer 1 because that's where I'm going to cut. So we do that little zigzag type of button again. And we are going to do Cinderella. So I'm just going to trace around Cinderella. And if you don't get it exactly right, you can always unclick it and try again. Okay. So then you go to the wrench, click cut, it disappeared, click paste. Then you come back here, take away the original page, and lo and behold, there's Cinderella and there is Alice. So Cinderella, I'm going to put at the bottom of the page. So I click the arrows, and then I just drag it until where I want it. Alrighty. So there's this one is one of the stick or printable sheets that's coming out, and then there's another one. So I'm going to insert that, and she has this whimsical lettering. So I'm importing that one also. See, because how the size is already, I want to make sure they don't shrink down. So even though it came in this way, it's on its own layer. It's not messing up either of my bookshelves. But what I do is I take off the background. I'm going to hide both of the bookshelves. And then I'm going to turn it this way so I can read it, even though I can read sideways. These are whimsical headers. She has a couple in different sizes. She has the days of the weeks in 2 sizes. And then she has today in a couple sizes, thoughts, chores, books, reading. She put fun day, Friday, Saturday. Here's the today with a moon. And then she did a couple doodah days like hearts, stars, and these swirlies. And then also weekend. So what I'm going to do is I want to use this as maybe for journaling, or let's say I need to plan for let's plan for the weekend. So what I'm going to do is decide which headers I want to use. So it's just the same concept. I'm going to use the squiggly line. Now, when you need to cut something or trace something and it's kind of tight fitting, let's say for this Saturday, it's okay to enlarge it so you can follow the line around. And because these are so tight, you might get some of the other one, but that's okay. Okay, so that's what I want. So I go to the wrench, cut, paste. Just like before, I can shrink down my page now. I'm going to remove the original lettering, and there I have Saturday. So I'm going to bring back my background. I'm going to bring up the 2 bookcases I had. And then Saturday, we're going to turn around. So there's a couple ways of doing it. I could easily use my pen, but sometimes you want to use what they give you. And there's vertical flip. There is, that was horizontal. There's vertical flip, or you can do rotate it every 45 degrees, which I like to do because then I know that it's going to be lined up level. So let's bring the camera back out. Thank you guys for hanging in here to learn how to do this. Okay, so now the arrow is still on, so I'm able to move the Saturday around. I'm going to take the background off just so you can see that a little clearer. Whoops. See, it kind of shrunk on me because I touched it, so I click reset. Everything's good. Okay, so now you get to move this around. So I'm going to bring back the background so I know. Okay, something decided to... Oh, that's a line. Okay, let's erase that line. All right, so I'm going to bring this a little larger, and then we're going to move the Saturday. I'm going to move the Saturday right there for where the books are. And then I want to put in another word. So I'm going to clear the book so I can read it a little better. I'm going to turn it again. We have Saturday. And let's do reading. So that little swirly line. Now see what happened? It kind of had a mind of its own. Sometimes the pens do that. Real simple. Unclick to clear it. Go back. Okay, so let's see. Where are we? Let's do reading. Oops, it did it again. Now sometimes when you're working with Procreate, it heats up the battery. So I usually have this on a fan type of thing like you use for your computers. And that kind of keeps it cool. Because for me personally, sometimes it will overheat and then freeze up on me. So, alrighty. So let's see what we have so far. We have Alice, we have Cinderella, we have Saturday, and okay, I'm kind of glad that happened. You saw me trace books or reading, but I forgot to keep it on the original image, so nothing really was done. So let's make sure the original image is up. Let's clear everything else so we have a nice thing. Let's try this again. So always make sure you're on the right page when you're doing this because you're then cutting nothing. So let's go back, cut, paste. Okay, and then we're going to clear that, bring back everything else we have. Background page thing. Okay. All right, so Saturday reading. So I want to move the reading. I'm going to rotate it. Okay, and then I'm going to move it up here. So Saturday, you need to make sure it's highlighted. I'm going to move that a little more here. And then I'm going to get to the reading. Move it here. All right, cool beans. Okay. Apologize for the dogs in the background. It's a tiny dog. Excuse me for a second. Cut that out. Okay, so I centered Saturday reading, and to me this is cute. So let's say I want to do some Saturday reading, or I did Saturday reading and then I want to journal about it. What else I would do is, as you notice, I'm having everything kind of close together, so it will have the margins when I print it, and then I'll be able to put my hole puncher in without worrying about any of this stuff. So the last thing I want to do is I want to make some lines. I'm not a person to use lined paper, but sometimes I'll highlight it so it will be separated of different things I want to talk about. Hopefully that makes sense. So you click the plus, it gives you a new layer, layer 7. So anything I draw, let's see, will be on that layer. See how it goes away? So let's give our layer. Then I'm going to go to my pens, and I have a whole list of pens I like using. And since these are watercolor typed, I want to use like a watercolor brush. So I'm going to use that brush, and then I'm going to do something really cool because I want the colors to match the drawings that she did. So what you do, the easiest way I do is using my finger. Hopefully my finger's warm enough. I touch it, and do you see that little circle going around? Let me see if I can get a little closer without getting it blurry. And so then you just keep wherever you're trying to pick up color, Kind of like when you do things on Instagram sometimes. It'll pick up that color. So I want to use this really pretty purple color. So now my dot is purple. And then I'm going to make sure I'm still on the right layer. Okay, I'm going to bring this back up so you can see the whole screen. And then I have it at different levels of width. So let's see if this is the width I want. Okay, I want a little bigger, so I do the arrow backwards. I'm going to go to the next level and just go straight across. Okay, I like that. So let's see if there we go. Okay, so now I want the green. As you can tell, I'm kind of partial to this color. It changed up here, and I did that. Now I want to pull one color from the bottom. We have like teal, these tangerine, the light yellow, and I think this darker kind of rusty orange. And I'm going to go the other way and see what happens. That's cool. Now I'm just doing it one time because I just want it light in the background. I don't want it too dark. It's not like a coloring page where I want it to, you know, that. So to me, that's really cool. I want it a little more centered, and I really like how the strokes of the pen worked. So I'm just going to do our arrow, and then see, I can bring it up. See, it looks like a background behind each of those bookcases. But I want it just in the center, and then I'm going to make it a little bigger by touching the little dots on the box. Or sometimes I use my fingers. Sometimes that works a little better. Have a little more control. Okay. Now, let's see. Now this is the last layer I want. So what I do is you touch this and you can move it down. And that way you know it's going to be behind everything. If I do it this way, it's above everything. Now, I might keep it this way, and the reason is let's put it behind these. When you see the lettering, it shows the outline of it. But when I do it up in front of everybody, it kind of blends it in. And I think I like that a little better. But you're like, well, I can't really see that. So there's two things you can do. You carefully bring over layer 7. You touch the N. And then this first one is opacity. So I can bring it down real light or full capacity. But I think I'm going to keep it the colors. And so to make sure that these pop, what I do is I will swing it over, and there's duplicate button. So I duplicate it. Now when you're duplicating something, always duplicate from the original, which will always be in the bottom. So watch, I'll do it one more time. Duplicate, and see how that popped up above the original. And then if you are a master at this, you can squeeze all three together, or you can group them. And see, when they're all dark, you click group, new group, and then flatten. And what that does, it just it saturates that layer a little more. So I'm going to do that again with the reading. Duplicate once, twice, 3 times. And then I'm going to squeeze all of them together. And so it pops just a little more. Now I want to make sure that these colors that she used are very vibrant too. So sometimes I will duplicate those and then bring it back. You probably say, okay, what's the difference? But when you use this in real life, you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, so that's all there is to making a page using PNGs this way compared to just printing it out and cutting it on your sticker paper or favorite paper. Now, I'm not going to print this one out. I am going to show you, though, the ones that I just did. But there's some things before we leave this part of it I want to show you. Is that you go back to gallery, and then it'll say untitled artwork. And so I put Saturday reading. So then it has the title, so it's really quickly for me to find. And then if I import this over to something, then I'll be able to find it. So that's the last thing I want to show you is how to import it. And then we will conclude this long video. Thank you so much for hanging out today of pages I've already created using the Whimsy bookshelves. So what you do is you click select. I'm going to select Saturday Reads. Click share. I'm going to do it as a PNG because when I use it later, I'm going to bring it over to Canva to make sure it's the right size for my my journal. So then what I do is I go down here, there's Dropbox. And because everything that I'm doing for LA Florals in April, I already have a file. So that's the right file. Then I click upload. And it's telling me that it's uploading to it. Now show in folder. So let's see, where is it? There it is, it popped up. Hey, this is VoiceOver Cat. Sorry about that. My video cut off and I forgot exactly where I stopped. So I'm going to end this video by showing you some of the designs that I used in Procreate, which then I moved over to Canva to shrink down to fit my personal rings. If you're interested in a video of how I did that, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to make that video. Thank you so much for hanging out today. I know today was a long video, but it was more of a lesson than a flip through or just a quick painting that I've shown you in the past. So I'm so excited that you'll be able to do this type of thing with these printables from LA Florals. And remember, use my code, it's down below. See you in the next one.